Welcome, everybody. This is IGTV, and with me is attorney, a private detective, and a former IDF officer, Richard Horowitz. Good morning, Richard. How are you?
Okay, Joe. How you doing?
Not bad at all. Let me just turn the house music down just a little bit here. Okay, so Richard, we've been reviewing a number of things last week, and this is on the National Intelligence Estimate and SWIFT sanctions and things of that nature. I understand this week we've got a couple of clips, and I want to roll over them real quick and get some comments from you, all right? So just stand by as I bring these up for everybody. I think you're going to find these interesting. I certainly appreciate you supplying them to me. All right, so here we go. Let's get clip one out there.
John Mearsheimer.
I don't agree that the IAEA report says that they are developing nuclear weapons. And I think with the
How do you read that report?
I think that the IAEA and the U.S. intelligence community has made it clear that there is no hard evidence that Iran is developing nuclear weapons. But the key issue here, Phil, is there's a distinction between developing the full nuclear fuel cycle on one hand and
well, that was the first denial. We're going to switch over real quick to a radio interview, and we're going to listen to the second one. Here we go.
No evidence that Iran is building nuclear weapons. They are enriching uranium, but they will not accept U.S. and Western dictates on this issue because for them that is part of America's larger hegemonic agenda towards them.
All right, we got a...
Okay, so Richard, what I've just laid out for everybody are the two clips that you sent me over the weekend, right? And the first one was Professor John Mearsheimer from the speaking about the U.S. intelligence community, and the second one was Flint Leverett, the former CIA and NSC official. Why don't you give me some comments and some background on that?
They both use the phrase that there is no hard evidence to show that Iran is developing nuclear weapons. Now, the phrase hard evidence is very interesting because the analogy I used last week, I announce that I'm going to kill someone. I buy a gun, I buy bullets, I circle his home on a street map, and then I say in my defense, there is no hard evidence that I actually had the intention of doing it. Now, to some people, that may make sense. Now, Flint Leverett makes that statement. He doesn't go into any detail. He just says there's no hard evidence, moves on, and says nothing more about it. Professor Mearsheimer makes the distinction between completing the nuclear fuel cycle or not completing the nuclear fuel cycle. His point was that we know that they're trying to complete a nuclear fuel cycle which can be used for peaceful purposes, but there's no hard evidence that they have any intentions otherwise. Now, what they expect to get as hard evidence to go inside the minds of the Iranian decision makers, I don't know. But if they're developing ballistic missiles at the same time they're enriching uranium, and if they had been enriching uranium for years secretly, before it was discovered, and if they're working on nuclear triggers, which can only be used for one thing, and they say provocative and outrageous statements about countries that shouldn't exist, and that the United States is responsible itself for 9/11, then I don't understand how they could ignore those aspects of it and focus solely on we don't know what the actual intention in their decision makers' minds are. So there you have it.
All right, Richard, thank you very much. And, of course, we just want to let everybody know that you're an accomplished attorney, a private investigator here in New York City, and I guess you're an attorney in Washington as well, all right, and a former member of the IDF and an officer in those ranks as well. Thank you for coming on the program. And we'll come up with one more segment with Richard as we review the skeptics and no hard evidence, and as we get into Dr. Kissinger and a case in Germany that you're just going to want to listen to. We'll be back in just 1 second after these messages. Stand by, everybody.